Well, that's not right. Crap. Oh, I thought I changed it too. Oops. Alright, there we go. Wait, sorry. Hey everybody, the Reeswirl here, and welcome back to more of Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Okay. That's what I said, I don't really know what happened. I know that we got to the end of the first day, I suppose. Or like the first quarter of this case. I always want to say trial, but they're not trials. So, what is to become of the trial in the Cadopian Embassy staff member's murder? Or into? Indeed, since both the suspect and the prosecutor are now dead. Well, the finger snap. The case will be dismissed. In other words, the trial ends here prematurely. Huh. Looks like you'll have to wait just a bit longer for your big debut. I suppose it can't be helped. The evidence for this trial will be transferred to you in a little while. So, what do you think about the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member? And the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. What an outrageous circus it has all become. That Faraday brought it all upon himself with his naivete. An outrageous circus. Right, sir. I grow weary of this topic. Edgeworth, I will have you assigned to a different case. Papa, you'll come and watch my courtroom debut next, won't you? I'll consider it. Sir, if I may, please allow me to continue my investigation. Whatever for? I know that there is already a suspect in the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. However, there is not enough evidence to prove that it was he who committed the crime. I'd like to continue investigating in order to find the perfect proof of his guilt. The perfect proof? Don't make me laugh. A worthless person like you has no right to claim such a thing as perfection. Oh dear. Papa? Who do you think is the real culprit behind these murders? Miles and I were competing to see who can find the real killer first. Plus, being able to investigate a real crime scene is a really rare opportunity. It would give us some real-life experience, wouldn't you agree? If you want to investigate this case that much, then do as you wish. Then, you're allowing us to continue? In court, your top priority is to win, and a solid investigation is one of the keys to winning. We have to make sure you become recognized as a first-rate prosecutor, don't we? It wouldn't be very interesting otherwise. I'm returning home now. Edgeworth, Franziska, see to it I'm not disturbed, save for the results of your competition. Yes, sir. Of course, Papa. Alright. Franziska, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Your logic earlier was built on that scruffy detective's lie. That means that the competition is still on. Yes, just as you wished. I couldn't let you get off so easily. Now then, let's see how well you fare on the investigation from here, Miles Edgeworth. Okay. I know I don't have enough information yet. So my first order of business will be to question anyone involved with this case. Oh, okay, so Franziska's my partner. Oh, cool. Oh, I thought she was just another cop. I didn't realise it was Callisto. What's Gumshoe say? It wasn't me, I tell you, I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, I understand, so let's just calm down, okay, buddy? I doubt I'll get anything useful from the detective while he is this agitated. Probably true. Miss you? No, it's you, Edgeworth. And who are you? Wait, you were at the crime scene just now, weren't you? You should be disbarred for not knowing who I am. I'm Francisco Oncama, and I'm about to become the successor to the family name. About to? I guess that means that for now you're still just another kid. In which case, it's only natural that I didn't know who you are. Of course. I was going to say, is she going to whip Callista? Really? Why are you whipping me? Oh, of course. Anyway, it looks like they're planning to hold the evidence a bit longer. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's waiting. I'm terribly sorry, but I have but a few more questions to ask of you. She really loves to laugh at Edgeworth. Look at you, eyebrows scrunched with lines on your forehead. And that... to ask of you. Oh my god. What exactly is so funny? Sorry, I'm just bad at dealing with the super serious atmosphere. Apparently they failed to teach you proper behaviour at a crime scene in law school. Whew, I feel much better now. So what is it you want to talk about? I'd like to inquire as to where you were at the time of the murder. We were in the defendant lobby number 1 the whole time up until we heard the gunshot. And by we, I mean Mr. Bad. If you don't believe me, feel free to ask him yourself. You were with Detective Bad? Why? We had a little something to discuss. That's all. Detective Bad. So I take it that you are acquaintances with Detective Bad? Yes, he was the detective in charge of the KG8 incident. Detective Bad is also related to that incident? That's right. He was the one who was supposed to protect my sister, Cece. But you know how that turned out, don't you, Edgeworth? Miles Edgeworth, I have no idea what you two are talking about. I've heard of the KG8 incident from my papa. But how does that case relate to you, Miss Yu? The victim of that case, CCU, was my little sister. Oof. You're making that super serious face again. I'm fine. Really. Hey Thomas, how's it going? I just make it a point to rub some more salt in his wounded pride every time I see him. The way she talks about doing that as she laughs away is kind of creepy. Oh, speaking of Mr. Bad, he and Mr. Faraday. I'd say they met up just about every single time the Yatagarasu made a move. It was practically a given that the two would meet up at every one of the crime scenes. I see, he did mention that he's in charge of the Yatagarasu investigation earlier. Oh, don't worry about it, dude. Just been able to stop by is appreciated, so it's fine. Maybe I should ask her what she knows about the Yatagarasu in more detail. Oh, whoa, okay. Time of the murder. You claim that at the time of the murder you were with Detective Bad. But don't you lawyers usually discuss the trial with your clients during the recess? We do, and that's what I was planning to do. But Mr. Faraday was being rather threatening and he dragged Mr. Rel away. After that, Mr. Bad came into lobby number 1, so we just stayed there and talked. And what did you talk with Detective Bad about? Nothing interesting. I just insulted him some. Talked about how the trial was going, and then I insulted him some more. Bloody. When she's not laughing, her mouth seemingly spews nothing but insults. Anyway, Mr. Bad and I were in defendant lobby number 1 when the murders occurred. So I really can't tell you anything about the hallway or lobby number 2. I see. Mackerel. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your client, Mr. Mackerel. Now, your client first claimed to be the Yatagarasu, is that correct? Yeah. Once I heard that it was the Yatagarasu that had made off with the evidence from KG8, I began to ask Mr. Rel all sorts of questions, but to no avail. Turns out Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. He had just made that up. You don't say! He made it up. Mr. Rel's crime was caught on tape by the security cameras. But there is no footage of him sneaking into the Cadopian embassy itself. Hold on for just 1 second. Then you mean to say that you knew that he was not the real Yatagarasu? And that he was just another cold-blooded killer? And you were ready to defend him? Yes, that's right. I see. So a defense lawyer is actually just someone whose job is to cover for criminals. That's why defense lawyers are so detestable. But they are no match for us Von Karmas. Well, you haven't met Phoenix right. At this point in time. I don't believe it, you're serious. Why don't you save that face for something really worth being serious about? And Edgeworth, do you remember what I said earlier? I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rell was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. I'm sorry, forgive my rashness. Jesus. Okay, she got serious all of a sudden. So the Yatagarasu. Miss Yu. I was wondering if you could tell me about the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu, huh? I don't really know much about that character myself. But I do get a lot of consultation requests from companies to defend them. Requests from companies? The Yatagarasu isn't some petty thief out for money, you know. Alright then, perhaps the Yatagarasu is in the business of stealing people's lives. No, he steals information from corrupt companies and sells, or doesn't sell them, he outs them, essentially. At least I think that's what he does. Or they do, we don't actually know the gender of them. You're not very funny or witty, are you, little Miss Von Karma? And... okay, Francisca, be careful about who you whip. Choose carefully, or we may get... of course, he got whipped. There, I chose carefully, just like you wanted. She hasn't actually laughed really hard yet, because when she does, her face changes, and it looks really weird. That just now was hilarious, little missy. Of course it was. What is wrong with these two women? Why does my pain give them delight? And, so in the end, what is the Yatagarasu? I have to say, I had never even heard of this thief when I was in Germany. The Yatagarasu deals in information, namely in digging out dirt about backroom dealings and the like of companies. The Yatagarasu is a vigilante who steals such info and then makes it public for all to see. Vigilante or not, this person sounds like just another criminal to me. I suppose you could put it that way too. But either way, I get a lot more clients now thanks to that thief. Sounds like Miss Yu is profiting nicely. Is that everything? I suppose I've gotten all I can out of Miss Yu. Should move on and speak with Detective Gumshoe now. Gumshoe! Oh, he's calmed down now. He looks so sad. Detective Gumshoe! Poor Edgeworth. He's always getting whipped. Although if you've got to feel sorry for anybody, it's Gumshoe. He has crappy wage, constantly gets whipped when Von Karma's nearby. He's just the butt end of everything. He's honestly the character I always feel sorry for. But he's also one of the most likeable characters too. It's you, pal. You're here. Wow, okay. Didn't waste any time. As am I. I don't think you needed to whip him to let him know that. I didn't do it, pal. I swear on my honor as a detective. I really didn't. Your words are useless. I place my trust only in the evidence, detective. Once the investigation is fully over, and should we find out that you are the killer, there will be no mercy to be had for you. Have a heart, pal. But you're not worried, right? After all, you have nothing to worry about, if you really are innocent, that is. That's right. Hey pal, go and do your perfect investigation, and get the real killer for me, will ya? I would have done so, even had you not requested me to, detective. Oh, motive for murder. Really? So you, Mr. Faraday, had a small meeting last week, did you? And what exactly did you do to make him so angry? I just asked Detective Bad the same thing myself, pal. Turns out he was mad at me because on my very first day as a detective, I reported in at my usual post instead of the Criminal Affairs Department. By the time I got down to Criminal Affairs, I was really, really late. And that's when he gave me that huge speech. I remember doing the same exact thing in elementary school. On the first day of school every year, I'd always wind up going to my old classroom. How pathetic for the detective to be compared to a mere schoolchild. Ah. During the recess. You claimed to be standing guard in front of the door to lobby number 2 during the recess. However, when did you receive the order to do so, and from whom? Earlier, around 3:20, and from Detective Bad, pal. Today's trial took a really crazy turn, so I was told to make sure nothing happened to Mr. Faraday. And yet, something did happen to him, correct? It looks like it was a total waste of manpower to assign you to guard duty. Oh. Your words sting worse than your whip, pal. So it was Detective Bad who ordered him to stand guard, huh? Okay, the next step. Now then, Detective Gumshoe. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me? Nope, not a thing, pal. In that case, allow us to take a look at what you are carrying on your personage. Wait, you can't do that. There's nothing of any particular value here. Well, my handcuffs and badge were confiscated by Detective Bad, so, you know. What is that open envelope I see sticking out of your coat pocket? Ah, hands off, pal. Just show it to us already. Oh dear. Poor guy. Bonus. Annual bonus check within, $5 total, except there is no check inside. You've had your luck, now give it back, pal. It's my first bonus as a brand new detective. I just got it and cashed it today. I had literally no cash on me up until I did. You know? Ugh, so that envelope is really special to me. Now give it back. You don't need rubbish like this. Don't worry, we'll throw it away for you later. How could you? Oh, it was his first bonus, and it was $5. Okay, so now what happens? I'm sorry, but I need to take him in for questioning now. I think I've asked him just about everything I need to. No, wait, since he became a suspect, there is one piece of evidence I should reconfirm. Officer, I ask that you wait a second. I still have one thing I'd like to reconfirm with Detective Gumshoe. Understood, but please make it brief, sir. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I must confirm whether or not his testimony about when the crime occurred is the truth. Oh, I see. It's a book... Wait, why am I... Okay, I'm stood in front of Gumshoe. I want to talk to Gumshoe. I'm examining a bookshelf. What? What's this? Judge's Trial Exchange Log. It appears to be a journal where the various judges share their thoughts and ideas. The real daily lives of judges are laid out here on these pages. There's nothing about the court in here. It's just page after page of unrelated drivel. Judging by the content, they are very enthusiastic about the courthouse's daily menu. And it would appear that fried oysters are a favourite. I have no use for such foolish words from that foolishly foolish crowd. Someone please assure me that this is not the true state of this country's judiciary. Right, can I speak with Gumshoe? There we go. I don't want to examine a bookshelf. Right, so, we need to affirm that his testimony is still the same. You told me earlier that you heard no sound other than the gunshot out in the hallway. Is that correct? No mistake about it, pal. Then you are also claiming that no one passed through the hallway either. Is that also correct? Yep. Not even a single ant passed through that hall while I was on duty. You do realise that the lie you're telling is only making life more difficult for yourself. Huh? Oh. But it's true. I didn't see anyone go through the hallway, and I didn't hear anything else, pal. I bet the killer found a way to kill the two guys that's beyond what I can even imagine. So he intends to continue telling this ridiculous lie. But why would he do so, given the situation he's in? I believe a thorough investigation of the hallway in front of the defendant lobbies is in order. Okay. Oh, it's Kay. You! Oh my god, she just kicked Edgeworth. Wow. How could you not have noticed... How could you have not noticed that coming? Wasn't that the child I changed money for earlier? It definitely was. Thanks, that's exactly what I needed. I don't understand why it's not given her her name. It's fairly obvious it's Kay. Kids can sometimes be so cruel. Looks like she dropped something. A Swiss roll. Ooh, food. Maybe we should arrest the girl. She might turn out to be a valuable lead. I believe some sort of punishment may need to be dealt the next time we meet. So I believe I've asked all that I need of this man. Now for Detective Bad and the judge. We have to confirm who is correct, the judge or that scruff face, right? I suppose we should inspect the hallway in front of lobby number 2 next. I suppose so. Shall we head on over, Franziska? It's weird, having young Franziska as our partner. Well, here we are. Oh, look at them. Wow, the judge is tiny. He looks so small. So, did you see anything else? No, I don't think so. I see, well, thanks for your cooperation. Oh, it's nothing. Just doing my duty as a defender of the law. That'll be all for now. I'll ask again if I have any other questions. Anytime, Detective. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a few loose ends I have to tie up. Oh, you're that new prosecutor Mr. Von Karma recommended, right? My name is Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor. And I'm Manfred Von Karma's daughter, Franziska Von Karma. I'm set to become the successor to my genius father any day now, Your Honor. I see, Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by by Von Karma. I didn't even get to read the other. I bit my tongue. You're right, Your Honor. Please feel free to refer to me as just Miss Von Karma, Your Honor. As for him, just Edgeworth is fine. Apparently somebody doesn't feel that I'm worthy of a proper title. Very well then, I shall call you Miss Von Karma and Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth. Your Honor, Mr. Edgeworth is fine, sir. Now, about your earlier testimony. Yes, what about it, Mr. Edgeworth? I would like to ask you a few questions about what exactly you saw. Alright. After all, it's my duty to clarify my testimony as a defender of the law. I greatly appreciate your cooperation, Your Honor. Now, the first thing I will need to do is figure out that detective's exact movements. Okay. Let's have a word with Judge. Judgy! Your Honor, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Where were you at the time of the murder? Do you suspect me of something? No, nothing of the sort, Your Honor. Very well, you may continue with your testimony. Your Honor, it's your testimony I'm after. Oh! I had no idea you were chasing after me or my testimony. I'm beginning to sense that I might want to avoid being in a trial run by this judge. Oh my god, he's such a klutz. Time of the murder. Let's see here, now then, how should I put this? When you get to be my age, you need to pay more frequent visits to the restroom. If you go take a look through the window at the end of the hall, you'll see a small window. That is the window to the men's restroom. In other words, you can see clearly into this hallway from the men's restroom. Okay. When I was going into the restroom, that detective, Gumshoe, is it? Well, he was standing in front of the vending machines, buying something from it. However, and this I couldn't believe, when I was about to exit the restroom, there was not a soul in the hallway anymore. Your Honor, if you could please calm down and explain it to me rationally. Oh, I'm really sorry. Please let me regain my composure. It was really suspicious. That's what my finely honed judge's intuition said. Although, well, until the murders occurred, I just sort of brushed it off. Apparently this judge doesn't understand the concept of staying calm. I guess that's everything for that. That's probably all I'm going to find out from His Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, may I return to my other duties now? Yes, I'm sorry to have held you up. Thank you for your cooperation, Your Honor. Anytime, Mr. Edgeworth, anytime. The judges in this country seem rather friendly. Yes, if not a little wishy-washy. However, I hear that they are known to hand down very fair verdicts. Okay, so, bad? What have you got to say? I forgot he has, like, his own theme. It's a very nice sounding theme, to be honest. Detective Bad, I have something I wish to inquire about. Hey, how about doing some actual work, you? Wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess. You're getting in the way of the investigation. I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself, plus I still hold investigative authority. Gumshoe! So I hear you were the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here. Faraday, that guy was just accused, you know? I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective's instinct told me. A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it. Jeez. Oh my god. Francisca, I think you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, Detective Bad. Please continue. I used the phone on the first floor and called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over. And that detective's the one that showed up. And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard, Detective Bad? Yeah. I waited for him on the first floor. After he got here, we came up to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you. She told us that Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to lobby number 2 to have a word or something. And that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside. And around what time did all of that take place? Let's see. I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once. Oh? And how can you make such a claim? One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't. If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to? That's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2 just as I suspected. You and I, we were in lobby number 1 next door. God, that 1 blends in with the eyes. Lobby number I. The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe. It would seem that I am still missing some key pieces of information. The gunshot. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not? Yeah. I heard it when I was in defendant lobby number 1. That's why I came running towards lobby number 2, together with you. How much time elapsed between you hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene? Less than a minute. What were your movements upon hearing the gunshot? I grabbed the big lug, who was just walking around in the hall, and raced into lobby number 2. And that's when we discovered the bodies. In that order. That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, right? Yeah, I guess it does. Little miss. I am about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve, or else. Oh. You wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss. You wouldn't dare. Just joking. I like Detective Bad. Detective Bad is really something if he can make Francisca behave. Are we about done? Is there anything else I should ask him about? Time he heard the gunshot, place. Situation around the gunshot, not the time. I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot. It was around the end of the recess, and the trial was about to start again. I think. He was supposed to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding. But I got the sense he wasn't gonna show for the handoff. So I figured I should go get him, or he'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang! The sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums. So we heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh? Yeah, okay. Are we done here? I don't have any time to waste. Oh, come on. All you're doing is standing in front of this door doing nothing. I get the sense that he is somewhat investigating this crime scene. Or rather that he is keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a bit longer? Don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys were the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place. Fine then, be obstinate. Or obstinate. We'll just do as we please. Come on, Miles. You may no longer be willing to help us. However, may I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation? Do as you like. Alright, I guess we're done with that. So, okay, we got told that Gumshoe was buying something from a vending machine, but which one? This one? Oh. It would appear that this vending machine sells snacks and various other foods. I wonder if I can deduce. Just lovely. What will they think of next? There'll be a jerk in cart like these beef jerks. 1 packet for $9. Defendant's fresh milk. 1/2 pint for $7. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. For $6. They're awfully overpriced. The lineup is simply awful. Period. Speaking of snacks, I wonder if that Swiss roll the little girl dropped is from this machine. I was wondering about that myself. Oh, I was going to say, can I deduce it? Wait, so I can examine literally everything. Really? Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. The end of what? Well, I assume it means the end of the trial. Suppose this means that one should eat these during a recess. You can't eat during a trial, so I suppose the only time you can eat them is now. I wouldn't mind if you wanted to eat one now. They come in packs of 2 after all. We're in the middle of an investigation. Besides, I don't have $6 on me. If you want, we can pool our money and buy a pack together. If I have to split it with you, then I don't want it. Jesus. Wait, does this accept coins or just notes? Either way. I got some logic. What was the logic exactly? I can't remember what it was. The vending machine and lobby number 2. Oh yeah, the bad window. Justice! Oh my god, it's the judge. So he's making a most ridiculous face. Or ridiculous looking face. That may be, but at least he doesn't look like someone who would tell a lie on purpose. I suppose, but to a Von Karma, evidence is the only thing that carries any weight. Of course, at any rate, this poster seems to be of no use to us right now. Oh, there's the window. Okay. Or until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. We've got this, whatever that is. The ants are hard at work, carrying their food home. It's a marvel that they can pick up such comparatively large objects to their size. Well, if you want to carry the mighty Von Karma name and not be squished under it, you'd better work extra hard, just like these ants. The same goes for you, Franziska. Okay, so there's that. What is this? What is this? It's a pink-coloured piece of trash, made of rubber. A pink piece of trash. Piece of pink trash found on the windowsill of the hallway, made of rubber. Okay. I feel like I've seen this, or seen something like this before. Well, all I see is a piece of garbage. But you know, the fact that there is a litter of running loose inside this cart house is simply unforgivable. It's not like it was I who littered. Rubbish belongs in a rubbish bin. She whipped him twice. Jeez. No mercy. What's the matter? I pricked myself on one of this cactus's needles. I didn't think the needles on this thing would be so sharp. Well, what did you expect? Can you imagine how bad it would be if you were hit on the head by one of these? Anyway, this cactus seems to be unrelated to our case. Do you really think so? Because I believe that this cactus sitting on this windowsill is completely related. Potted cactus sitting on the hallway windowsill, its needles are dangerous. I get the feeling that that is what caused the pink rubber thing to break off, or rip or whatever. Oh, well then. I look forward to your explanation on how exactly it is related. Okay, so now if I press Y... The hell is that? It's a handprint. The dirt on this bench. It smells like some sort of sweet substance. I can't believe there is someone going around dirtying the courthouse. For shame. Okay. Calm down, Franziska. No, take a good look. Doesn't this smudge look kind of like a handprint to you? I suppose it could be. Which means that perhaps we can lift the print of the person who sullied this bench. I see, and then we'll know the identity of our mystery slob. You there. The lab technician. Could you please find out who this handprint belongs to? Sir, yes, sir. I've got the results of the fingerprint analysis, sir. And, do we know who they belong to? Sir, the fingerprints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Oh, interesting. Good work, officer. So his fingerprints were on the bench. There you have it. Yes, I suppose so. Now we know the identity of the person who dirtied the bench. I sense that you and I will be using this information in very different ways. The only other thing is this. Is that what the ants are gathering around? What are these black speckles? I believe it's a pile of ants eating away. Oh, that detective. He claims that not a single ant slipped by him. And yet here is a whole hill of them. Oh my god. What are you hitting me for? As a replacement for that pathetic detective. Perhaps I should add this deduction to the detective's growing tab of pay cuts. Anyway, I wonder what the ants are eating. From the looks and sweet smell of it, pieces of cake and chocolate from a Swiss roll. Ah! Miles Edgeworth, the cart house is to be kept pristine at all times. Why are you blaming us? We didn't do anything. It wasn't me that dropped food on the ground. The cart house must be kept clean. Does he actually get whipped 3 times? Oh no, not quite. Right, well I think I've gotten my, the logic that I need. Yeah, the cake roll with the vending machine. What else was there? Pardon me. Swiss roll crumbs. Found on the floor under the bench, a hill of ants are attracted to its sweet scent. A vending machine that sells cart house special goods, as few sweet items are for sale. Right, it's a vending machine with the sweet Swiss roll. These bits of chocolate, oh god, of chocolate and cake, could they not have come from a Swiss roll? A Swiss roll? Why would a cart house sell a thing like that? It may not seem like the right venue, however, it is being sold right over there. That vending machine. Ah, I see. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end of these. 2 for $6? Talk about expensive. Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that the cake, crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they came from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now. Naturally. After all, I'm here, aren't I? Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate it, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench. Ah. How could he have not cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable. Don't you dare whip me again. It wasn't I who made the mess in the first place. Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who bought the Swiss roll, that creates a rather interesting contradiction of facts. Contradiction? Where? I think another look at the special cart house vending machine is in order. Is he gonna say the fact that it comes in 2? Oh. Probably the fact it comes in a pack of 2. Right, yeah, put these 2 together. This pink rubbery substance, I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon. I suppose that's possible. The balloon probably got a little too close to our friend, the windowsill cactus. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. Ah, it's a balloon piece. Okay. So that explains how that got up there. So if I look at this, so there's now something suspicious with this. Oh, I can deduce this. Because the price is $6, but Gumshoe only had 5. Yeah, because he said he cashed it in right away. It is indeed. To the bonus. Wherever the bonus may be. There it is. Eureka! About Detective Gumshoe's finances, he said that until this morning, he didn't have even a single penny on his personage. Just how poor is that guy? If his bonus really was only $5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor. Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow. Indeed. That detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, and yet he did. The question is, how? I think it's fairly obvious considering where we found the other one. Investigation completed. Woo! I believe I now have a very firm grasp on what happened here. Well, I do too. Alright, Franziska, would you care to share what conclusions you've come to? Why should I do that? We're still in the middle of a competition, you know. We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first, so you go ahead. Okay. It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. Very well, but first we need to pay His Honour a visit to correct his testimony. Right. Your Honour, if I may, I'd like to test your witness testimony to see how it stands up. Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect? In a sense, I suppose you could say that. Even you, a judge, is nothing but a common witness before a von Karma. Silence in the courtroom. Silence, I said. Mr. New Prosecutor recommended Pamaz. Oh, God. You bit your tongue again, didn't you? As a defender of the law, I could never give false testimony. You can even place me under oath if you want. I mean, I think he gave false testimony, but didn't realise he gave false testimony. Very well. Very well then, your testimony, if you please. Because he said he saw Gumshoe purchasing something from the vending machine, and then the next moment, he had completely disappeared. I think what had happened is he sat down. Gumshoe sat down, obviously disappeared from the view of the window, but the judge must not have known about the bench that is below the window or something. Not entirely sure. What I saw at recess. During the recess, I went to the restroom. So there's a window... Ah, okay. On the hallway side, in other words, I could see into the hallway. As I entered, I saw that detective buying something from the vending machines. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. A detective that goes missing while on duty, that sounds mighty suspicious to me. Yeah, I think it's just you're a fool. You old fool! Your Honour, can you please try to remain calm? Oh! I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I got caught up in the excitement. I'm sorry, Your Honour, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now.
Hold it!
What did you go to the restroom for? Your Honour, why exactly did you pay a visit to the restroom, if I may ask? I did actually ask that. Well, isn't it obvious? What else do you go to the restroom for? Or maybe... I knew it. You suspect me of some sort of tomfoolery, don't you? Please stay calm, Your Honour. This is going to be much harder than I anticipated. I'm sorry. You're right. I need to think things through with a level head. I'm just nervous because so much has happened today with this trial. Let's see. I announced a recess and a time for us to reconvene. But having done all that, I still wasn't able to go to the restroom right away. And why couldn't you? Mr. Faraday had been accused, so I had paperwork to process regarding a new prosecutor. Once I had finished that, I was finally able to make a mad dash to the restroom. At least he stayed consistent on the going to the restroom part of his testimony. A window on the hallway side. Yes, you could see to the hallway. I'm literally just going to press everything until I get to the statement where I need to present something. Yara, did you really go to the men's restroom? What is the meaning of that statement? It simply meant that perhaps you went to a restroom on a different floor. I had to go for such a long time. It was all I could do to dash to the closest one to the courtroom. I suppose that's only natural given his circumstances. I ran from the courtroom, through this floor's main lobby and down the hallway. Once you enter, you can see there's a window just above the urinals. And it was through that window that you witnessed Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor. Yes, exactly. Your Honor, there's no need to yell. I can hear you just fine. Oh boy. Oh, I guess I put a little too much into that last answer. No matter. No, let's continue with the testimony. Indeed. Are you sure that the person you witnessed was Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor? Quite certain. I'm absolutely sure. It's hard to miss someone of his stature, even from as far away as the restroom. Besides, I can't think of anyone else with that kind of hairstyle and big beige coat. I was simply wondering if you were mistaken in what you saw. What? Preposterous. My eyes are as sharp as can be, ready to see through lies to the truth. Although recently, things do seem to be a bit fuzzier than they used to be. Clearly, his eyes are not the only things that have gone fuzzy. But allow me to say, with all the honour and dignity of a judge, I am not mistaken in what I saw. When I was about to exit the restroom, he'd completely disappeared. There we go. Apparently, wait. Left on the hallway bench. Apparently sat here as he ate a Swiss roll. Whoosh! The finger wag. Oh, no, no, no. He actually called it a finger wag. What was that finger wag for, Mr. Edgeworth? And don't you know it's rude to shout objection while someone is giving testimony? Huh. If you truly are a man of the law, then you must always be vigilant. For example, I myself never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by. Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this is real life. This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me. What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? That party is hereby found guilty of uncleanliness. Cleanliness? Yeah, whatever. If you must know, the uncouth bench sullier has already been placed under arrest thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor. Oh? Well, that's good. But who was it? We were able to discover something from the smudge on the bench. Namely, Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints. Not happy with committing just a murder. He had to go and dirty the courthouse too? Guilty! Your Honor, please calm down. While it's true that the detective is the one who made the mess on the bench, we have not yet established that this action is related to the double murder. What do you mean? I believe that the detective bought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true. Oh, but I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving the restroom? It is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall, at around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Francisca herself was unable to see out of that window. Oh, she actually whipped him. I knew I shouldn't have used her height as evidence. Basically, what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot where the hallway being viewed from the men. When the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom. Then... It seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window... Yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight. What? Do you finally see, Your Honor? Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time. Who hold it? Ah, sorry. I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. He didn't even have a voice clip. That would have been perfect. An old man just... Object! No, not objection. An old man yelling, "Hold it!" So all I wanted to do was try saying it once more. Oh, saying it once. Here, let me try that again. Hold it. Is there something of value you'd like to say? Yes, actually, there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth. Please allow me to testify to the call one more time. Even if we overruled him, he'd just keep on talking, wouldn't he? That might not be a bad thing. The more info, the better. In a perfect investigation, right? Okay. What I saw, part 2. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot. Oh. How was that? That is the testimony of one who judges the crimes of others. Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time? I agree, before you go around judging others, you should learn to judge your own words. I'm sorry. Well, honestly, I thought that sound was just a noise popper until just now. Now that he mentions it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about it. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? Could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. The most critical point in this argument is when did the judge look into the hallway? And whether that lines up with when the gun was actually fired. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony. Huh. What I saw, part 2. Will this work? Hold it! No, it won't. Hold it! See, it's such a hit and miss, I hate it. I really wish it just worked, but whatever. In that case, do you concede that you were overconfident in your last testimony? No, hold on there. I just said that it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom this time. But you know something? I don't think you know when the prints you referenced were left on the bench, or on that bench, do you? Oof, you got me there. While you have proven that it's possible the detective was sitting, I still have a problem with just when those fingerprints were left. He's right, I have yet to prove when the fingerprints were left on that bench. While he feigns ignorance, his Honour has seen a lot in life. This judge, I mustn't underestimate him. As we established, you went to the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into that hallway? After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20 minutes until we reconvened? Yes, that sounds about right. Just as I expected. What were you expecting? And I demand to know what that all-knowing smile is for. Your Honour, that statement you made just now is very important. I'd like for you to append it to your testimony. Alright, if you insist. So that wasn't the gunshot that he heard. No, because the gunshot rang out literally just before the trial restarted. So where is it? Yeah, he had the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again. I cannot allow you to make an objection. Huh? Your Honour, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection. Egad, I've been overruled. Your Honour, there are simply too many holes in your testimony for my taste. But what do you mean by that? You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible. Mr. New Prosecutor, recommended by Manfred von Carr. Instead of biting your tongue... Oh, I didn't even get to read that. I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Francisca. Don't talk back to me unless you want to be whipped in the back. With your height, you'd need a stepladder or 4 to accomplish that. Mr. Edgeworth, my ears are not that far gone yet. I'll have you know, I can still hear just fine. And I heard the sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own two ears. Your Honor, I have here an interesting bit of testimony. It's from Detective Bed. And according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again. What did you just say? Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene even. How do you explain this glaring contradiction? That can't be! Unfortunately, that is the truth. But I heard it clear as day. Bang! The loud sound of a gunshot. The sound of a gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention. And that piece of evidence. I always did wonder why I found it where I did. However, now I understand what that gunshot the judge heard really was. Unfortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard. A popped balloon. I found this object in the hallway earlier. What is that pink substance? It may not look it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon. I see. I suppose you would like me to accept that pink balloon into our court record. Or into the court record. Your Honor, I present this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony. What? Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. Now, there is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at that time. Therefore, you believe he must have been at the crime scene, defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct? Yes, that's exactly right. Let me ask you something. You think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure the rest out on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot. What manner of trickery is this? That was a good effort you put forth, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even testified. Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins? Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off from a real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this? That's true, one doesn't usually think balloons in conjunction with courthouse. Yeah, but... there you go. I want to trade these coins with you. That's it! Yeah, she had a balloon. That balloon that girl was holding, it explains everything. Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy. Who knew? That giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do. What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very, very big apology. I will see to it myself that he is released. Wait. There are still a few things I have yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe. But why? I thought we just cleared his name. Whether we did just now or not, I simply cannot say. Or I still cannot say. The only thing I can do for now... pardon me. Is to continue in my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway. Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom. I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation to this case. Ooh. So Gumshoe should just be strolling on in. Ba-da-da-da-da. What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal, I didn't do it. I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that. No. I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologise for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honour, I don't believe you should apologise just yet. We've yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime. I guess so. What are you guys talking about? In any case... Oh god, talking so much makes me yawn. I only know that because it only happens when I'm playing this game. Actually, it doesn't happen with Planescape Torment. I suppose that game's scattered about. It's not all reading all at once to actually continue or anything. I don't really know. It's just reading this makes me yawn a lot. That makes it sound like this game's boring, but it most definitely is not. So I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found innocent. However, if you should give false testimony, you'll be whipped. My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely. Understood? I got you, pal. Thinking back on the state of the crime... Wait. On the state of the crime scene, and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in this case. Oh! So while I was on duty, I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal. Right, okay. He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying. It's time I pulled the information I need out of him. While I was on duty. Right, time to press everything. Hold it, mofo! Love how it does sometimes work. So, was it really Detective Bad who called you down here? You bet it was, pal. I was left in charge of everyone of the precinct while everyone was out, and this call comes in. I want you down here in 1 minute flat, he said. Well, I thought this was my big chance, my first case, so I made a mad dash down here. Although I couldn't exactly get here in a minute flat. So how long did it take you? About 10 minutes, I guess. What was Detective Bad doing when you finally made it? He was waiting for me down on the first floor in the entranceway, pal. Okay. So, there. Again, I'm doing the same. Just pressing on everything. So, and by he, you mean... Detective Bad, of course. And this being my first time at this courthouse, he also walked with me up to the 3rd floor hallway in front of the defendant lobbies. And did you meet anyone along the way? Well... Just as we entered the hallway, we ran into Miss Yu. When we heard from Miss Yu that Mr. Faraday was not to be interrupted, that's when Detective Bad told me to stand guard in the hallway, pal. So far, Detective Gumshoe's testimony is matching up with Detective Bad's. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, it is not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway. Or is it not a fact? Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else? Very well then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail? Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know. It was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch. Oh? Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of? You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to. We got him. Why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden? Because we are all in shock, and in awe of your utter stupidity. Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one. Oh no. But I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close. So, and until I heard a gunshot, I didn't take a single step away from lobby number 2. You're lying. I have an objection. What is it, pal? Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere. Hey, it's one of those things. They can't have special Swiss rolls, right, pal? Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also recall the sullied hallway bench. Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this. You inconsiderates... Ew. Is it slovenly? Slovenly pig. I promise to clean it up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls? Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get the bench dirty with your grubby hands? It appears that Franziska's whip can do more damage than my words alone can. Alright, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job, so I didn't want to say anything. Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. I clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine. Okay, I'm sorry for lying. But that's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back. That last statement, it may sound like it makes sense. However, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us? Huh? Of course not. I've got nothing else to hide, pal. Oh, if only that were true, Detective Gumshoe. But it is true, pal. I swear there's nothing else. Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct? Huh? Remind me again, pal? A vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack. And yet according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your $5 annual bonus check. Isn't that right? Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase a pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that? I told you, I bought it all by myself. I bought it by myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me. So there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You got some kind of proof that there was someone else in the hallway, don't you? Correct. As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that? Wait, you do. Of course I do. What? How? What proof do I have that there must have been someone else there in that hallway? The balloon? I mean, I would say the Swiss roll because it was on Kay's person, but also the balloon. But that could have been popped at any time. The boom. Hey, you showed that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal. I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls. Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it. You thief! What? I would never do such a thing. All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves, you're under arrest, pal. I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, what does that say about you, detective? Love this back and forth. This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone. Oh. There were two rolls in this package. You ate one of them, but then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you? No way, pal. You got it all wrong. I ate both of them. There we go. Oh, not again. Oh! Wow. It would appear that we've caught you at last. Hey, don't you dare do anything bad to that girl. It would appear that they do know each other, after all. So why do you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow? I have a name and it's Kay. Kay what? Kay Faraday. I like how her theme plays now. Would anybody, like, not know who the little girl is? Like, seriously? I can't imagine, like, going from the previous case where we were with Kay to this, it's quite obvious that it's her. But whatever. Faraday. Are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter? I'm not a you, I'm Kay. Kay, you know, good little girls don't kick other people. Especially not hard enough to leave big nasty bruises like the way you do. Well then you shouldn't have put Gummy under arrest, mister. Gummy? My guess is that she's talking about Detective Gumshoe. What a cute nickname you've given him. Gummy didn't do anything wrong. Kay? It appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail. Oh, there we go, we can actually talk now. Now then, Kay. She's like a stray cat. I wonder if I should feed her something. There we go. Give her the Swiss roll. Okay, I promise to give this to you if you calm down. Oh, a Swiss roll! It really belongs to you, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I was saving it for Daddy. Oh my. Your father, he's, Don't you say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet. Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already know about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking. Aww. About how Daddy, he's not here anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him. Okay. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna... She's crying. It's alright, let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child, I feel a certain shared fate. A common bond between us. Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry? Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. Hey, here, how about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes, not little tears. So there we go. My cravat! Don't blow your nose on that. I feel better now. Thanks. What a little shit. Okay, are you going to be alright? Yep, I'm already alright. Somehow I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it. I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers. Oh man. Oops, I pressed the forward button. And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right? That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still going to keep all of my promises. You're a very brave girl, Kay. You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that you didn't cry, just for you. Thank you very much, lady. It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth, after all. It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Franziska is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. So, your father. Okay, what kind of person was your father? Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world. So to you, a prosecutor is a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts for criminals. Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me my absolute favourite treat, Swiss rolls. Oh? I want to be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard. I see. And what have you been working hard on? I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together. A promise notebook. May I take a look inside, Kay? Sure, okay. It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts, between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Ah. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you continue to work hard to become a hero just like your father. I'm gonna try. Hey, Kay, so I'm a detective that catches the bad people, right? That makes me a hero too. Yeah, you're really cool too, Gummy. Yeah, aren't I, Kay? What is with the two of them? I hand down verdicts of justice, so that makes me a hero too. Yes, and thanks to your oh-so-heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail. I'm really sorry about that. Gummy is not a bad man, okay? That poor judge. He's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay. Yeah, we're friends. In that case, would you mind telling me a little more about him? Oh, there we go, Dick Gumshoe. So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier? Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi. And when was this? Before everything got crazy? How long were the two of you together? We only talked for a little while. And then we went on our own ways. That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it. Oh, which means... We have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right? You got me. I thought you to stop picking on Gummy, mister. Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. I love the fighting stents. Swiss rolls. Were you the one who bought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay? Well... I didn't really have a lot of money. And I somehow made $1 out of all the pennies and quarters I had. But that still wasn't enough and I really, really wanted one. Come to think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct? Yeah, thanks a bunch for doing that, mister. Sure. Well, let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct? Well, that's why... Hey, if you bully Kay anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal. Need I remind you that you're the one already under arrest? Oh dear. I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with this question. Sorry about your ruffly thing. Yes, well... now that it's positively drenched in your natal mucus. Don't worry, Kay, I have got a spare. So here, you can have this one. But Daddy said, never take things from a stranger. It's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct? Yeah, look, see? It's right here on this page. Promise number 1. Never take things from a stranger. Never go anywhere with a stranger. Alright then, I'm not giving this to you. I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You can take it home, wash it nice and clean, and give it back to me next time we meet. Okay, Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things from strangers. I actually want to look at the other ones. Before I do. I'm hoping I can actually check it. Okay, I can. So, never go anywhere with a stranger. Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. Daddy's job is to make sure that everyone follows the rules. Kay, be a good girl and promise that you'll keep your promises to me, okay? Aw, that's sweet. So, now then, Detective Gumshoe. Uh-oh. I believe it is now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in that hallway. I told you to stop being mean to Gummy. Who hold it? Oh, Franziska. Miles Edgeworth, there is still something you have yet to resolve. I beg your pardon? You still haven't offered an explanation for why that man would lie to us. That's... well... Gummy, don't tell me you've lied for my sake. Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay. Ah, so that's why. So what was Detective Gumshoe's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation. His reason for lying is very simple. What? Here's what I believe to be his reason. A simple observation of the detective's actions and his interactions with Kay. It's obvious that Detective Gumshoe was lying for the young girl's sake. And this piece of evidence will show you exactly why. Which piece of evidence proves that Detective Gumshoe was lying on the account of Kay? Maybe the balloon? Actually, was it this? Never take things, never go anywhere. Greet people with a smile even people you don't know. Did she break one of these? I'm assuming it's the promise. Mr. Faraday and Kay's promise notebook. How does this explain anything? If you could take a look at this page, it's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay. What a foolishly foolish fool of a foolish reason for a fool. Oh dear. Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you? Because I'm your friend, Kay, that's why. Gummy! At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now? Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay, I'll spill the goods. I've been standing guard for a while. I was getting really hungry, and that snack vending machine was taunting me. But all the cash you had on you was $5, and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls. Yeah, but then, like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up. Oh, look at her. I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy a Swiss roll. But I only had about $1 of coins, or in coins. So we pulled my $5 and her $1 together, and bought a pack of Swiss rolls together. But I was worried about breaking one of my promises. So then Gummy said, Mr. Faraday's one scary guy when he gets mad. But don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I don't tell, right? Besides, you bought it with me. So you didn't really get it from me, you know? Oh, because Gumshoe would have been considered a stranger, I suppose. He told me it'd be okay. And he gave me a whole roll to save and give to Daddy. Who knew that Scruffy could be so considerate? Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together. Yeah, we split the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's chocolate. I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal. Anyway... Kay, I believe this also belongs to you. Oh, that's from the balloon I popped. It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So just this once, I forgive you. But that balloon... I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll. Oh... Wow, you really got me there, pal. So I thought maybe I should give Gummy this other roll. And then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister. So you kicked me, is that it? You sure are a feisty one. I'm really sorry, mister. It's alright, I'm perfectly unharmed. What about this Swiss roll? Would it be alright with you if I held onto it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go? Yeah, sure. Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay? Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty. Which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murders. Oh god, I hate her fucking voice. Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe is the only one who could have committed the crime. What do you mean? It's quite rude to eavesdrop, Miss Yu. Oh god. I do like how her sprite has all of the animations, though I'm getting lectured on manners by a girl with a penchant for whipping people. But what? How dare you talk back with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not the bad guy. Oh, what have we here? What is a child doing here in a cart house? Bailiff, please take this child in. No! Miss Callisto Yu, that girl is Mr. Faraday's... I know, so what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all around the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her, to speak nothing of getting underfoot. I suppose you're right, however, as long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then, Detective, you were in front of the door to lobby number 2 the entire time, correct? Yeah, but... You see, it's not obvious that it could only be the detective. He is the only person who could have gone into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders. I have no counter-argument to that. Don't worry, I've already put in the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest. But the investigation is far from over. Oh, that's right, I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard? I suppose it is. Well, as someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on a criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Ooh, Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this. This is unforgivable as a disciple of Von Karma. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the results of your investigation. So, we're back to square one. Actually, this is our last chance. I can tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all of the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Bad and Miss Yu were at the time of the crime. Lobby number 1. To be continued. So the question really is, do I just record and finish the trial, this entire case now, or do I end the session and do the rest next time? I think I might just go for trying to finish the case. We'll see how it turns out. So defendant lobby number 1. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? Looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Oh, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks, I'll treasure it always. Let's just seem to get along rather well. Oh, here. I've got something else for you. Another! Thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh! It's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. you also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright. I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Hmm? What is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Oh, okay. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay. It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. It sounds like he'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. No. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is that overpowering smell that is permeating the room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window. But that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So that sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand. No-nam. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Hey, little girl, you can have it. I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Okay. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. During the recess. So, you were in this room the entire recess? Like I said. I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations. Guess I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Oof. Let's see, Miss Yu is the victim, or sister of the victim of the KG8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Cadopian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday. And the KG8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Okay, the KG8 incident. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story, other than the people who were directly involved. You two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. Oh, that's a lollipop. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. I honestly thought it was a toothpick. Faraday, you, and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I. We were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries? That trail was just a front. Facade? Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. And what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Big boss man. God, I speak so weirdly sometimes. By the big boss man. Just another scapegoat. The boss man of the Amano Group? You can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Kochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once for her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, CC, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention that as well, about how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap. What kind of a trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean, you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. In relation to you? About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes, Faraday and I. We apologised to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah, Faraday and I, even after the KG8 incident, had come to a close. We continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Our client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. Yu was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason. Good to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. Yeah, that she has her own agenda. Yeah, I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer. Don't put words in my mouth, I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you, that's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day, you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again, in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. Okay, we still have relation to Faraday. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there's more to that statement that meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. Yeah! You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KGA incident and this second KGA incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ. And that is the presence of, or absence of, the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rowe claimed to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason? Huh. And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu. What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Good whip, Edgeworth. Knew it. It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows how to disarm, or exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention. Would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. and the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicise any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. It's that one there. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicise something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. Ah, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Bailiff? Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honour would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you would please head over to the courtroom, it would be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. See, that he's very narrow-minded in his objective. It's literally, I need to find criminals guilty. It's not the fact of, I need to find the truth, which is what it changed to after he had, you know, gone against Phoenix Wright a few times. Actually, it was after Case 4 with, Von Karma. That's when he chose death. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honour is still a bit de-spirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all dressed about it, Your Honour. As a judge, no one expects you to think anything other than the verdict. Francesca, there is no need to further depress His Honour. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honour. I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honour, the evidence. Your Honour. Oh. You, yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honour, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would expect that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. Not accept, not expect. She's busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of the evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honour. So the pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of these or those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case, and maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I've placed all of the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. Okay. I see. Thank you very much. I'll go and confirm that they are all accounted for. So this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag. I mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data around them, or about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all of the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. Don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. See, someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. Oh, bloody hell, we have a few things. It's also real to see the knife close up. So we have the knife, the gun, an envelope, and what's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right, I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Baird requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Baird said that? What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it too. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Blah blah blah. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. Ooh. I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have had about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. I've already read it. So there we go, that's the organizer. Look, there's a picture stuck inside the pages, or these pages here. The fuck? It appears to be a key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? The Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bat said something earlier. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian embassy. The Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe. As a prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. Ah. So we have a knife. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? It has never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courtroom by Mr. Rell, or courthouse. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon in like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up in the courthouse? You need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer. Franziska? What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. I'm assuming he's on about the key. It's one of those keys that change. It changes. I mean, if I have a look at the knife, does that not have any, like, weird ridges? Oh, really? Yeah, the Yatagarasu's key. This Yatagarasu's key, Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Franziska, to see what I mean. Don't the colour and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, he does not mention the knife. The only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say they are one and the same? It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now let us examine the knife in a little more detail. Ah, here we go. Oh my god, it looks so weird. I don't remember how I do any of this. Oh, there we go, with R. There it is! Oh! Oh my god, I never even thought that the reason it's... Oh my god, that's so cool. No, that the reason it's ridged on this side is because it was flat on the other. That's clever. It also explains why you couldn't have examined the knife prior, because it would have revealed that it's a key. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Nice. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspects of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. L really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. L was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, Detective Bad said earlier. Yeah, but when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, he knew nothing about it. Rel had no idea what it was. I see, alright then. I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Oh boy. Wait, so the knife was also updated. Very good. Pardon me. Alright, so examine the document. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly, and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mackerel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Earl was caught in the act of on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I'd thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Roll on it, even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me either. And then we have the gun. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Earl still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Oops, I didn't get to read the rest. The video showing the moment in which Mr. Roll committed the murder. Where could it have gone, indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honour, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honour, were you derelict in your duties? What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honour, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime. Defendant lobby number 2. Is that who I think it is? That's Detective Bad. But who's he with? I've never seen that officer before. Oh, it is him. Okay, so did you find it? No, not yet. I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh, so you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? I can't remember his name. What was that all about? And who was that man just now? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Does he even know that we're standing right behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? Looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. And so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zengfar to study. Agent Lang, that's it. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's travelling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe. even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Baird? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine. If this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what's been hiding and what's happened in this room straight from him. Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Baird. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see, in that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy, you'll see. We'll draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. So if I actually presented the Yatagarasu's key, does he know about it? Detective Baird, did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same? What? That's impossible. It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Roll was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither one of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. Yeah, that's right. Then why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Baird, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. So time of the murder. Detective Baird, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and find the truth behind this case. Okay. Detective Baird's movements. I was in lobby number 1 talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. Okay. It sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Indeed. Yeah, just press everything. Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me. Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together, that's all. So his answer remains the same as before, I see. I was hoping you would expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. Until you heard the gunshot, did you not notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. So what you're saying is you did not ever hear a balloon popping. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same colour as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon? Yeah, I was sitting with her up until up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook for a gunshot. Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honour said that he heard the balloon pop, about 20 minutes before the trial was about to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honour heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad, and if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? What? Don't give me a so. We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivete cracking. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What is that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound absorbing material. Then you mean... Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound. No. I knew that's what he was going to say. And that means that Scruff-Face's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around. The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, the person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realise a contradiction in your own words. Oh? How so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of a gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have. It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? The state of the crime scene? Wait, can it be? It's that ultra-strong perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. So an open window in lobby number 1 was... Wait, I am not reading this right at all. Dissipating the smell. A window in lobby number 1 was open to allow the perfume Miss Yu spilled to dissipate. Oh, way too noisy. Lobby number 2's television, it looks like it was set to an incredibly high volume. the surveillance video. How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Oh. Where did the surveillance tape from Mr. Faraday's bag disappear off to? Oh. So, lobby number 2's window, and a very loud television. Oh wait, no. Dissipate the smell. There we go, that one was open. Yeah, the scent of flowers is in the air. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. Right, so now I'm getting more. Okay, the very loud television and the windows. Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. So gunshot could be heard, windows were open, so the gunshot could be heard, but where did it originate from? Here we go. Clever. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence... created for me, is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Myers, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television. The TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. Okay. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. So I'll examine this first. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but... Detective Bad, would it be alright for you, or with you, if I verified the contents of this video? Sure, knock yourself out. Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. Wait, so those two must have already been dead. Yeah. That would explain why... well, not everybody. Callisto was very adamant about not disturbing Faraday and Rell. And she was saying he took Rell into the defendant lobby number 1, number 2 even, to do whatever, and said they must not be disturbed. Oh. And this must have been playing from the beginning. Okay. This sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can... we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you've figured it all out then? Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine, in that case, show me what you've deduced. Okay, I deduced the open window. Now, to show what the gunshot detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Okay, so the window, deduce it, because it's open. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? 'Tis indeed, to the surveillance tape. Eureka! If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we are in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true, this cart house does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot, while the windows in lobby number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. But then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose? Correct, that's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well, I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of when the crime took place? The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes, and they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So that's why the tape was left running. You mean, the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period, and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. I think we know who it is! Oh yeah. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu was asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. Looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood? Please tell her that I will be right over. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. To be continued, of course. Awesome. Love it. This might be a fairly, lengthy trial, or session, but I don't care. I like to record this game in segments. I don't like to finish a trial and then start another. Finish a case and then start another mid-session. Save! Awesome. But it is weird just how short this game seems to be. Kind of. I don't know, I just think the pacing for the trials is much faster. For the cases. Oh. There she is. Oh, it's Kay. Kay, what are you doing here? Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for has already... Kay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation. Okay, you got it. Detective Bad, haven't we already found what we were looking for? If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer. Any little task will do. Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. Wait, we're actually doing this as if it was a trial. What? It's a bit weird. Alright, whatever. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we even have a viewer in the gallery. And why? Even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander. I have a duty to see this case through to the end. No matter how it turns out. Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements. During the time when our suspect was in the hallway, I've also confirmed that there is no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must, without a doubt, be Detective Gumshoe. And that's all you have? Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion and this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there is always time for a rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think? How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony. If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is to prove it, by showing who the real killer is. Misuse argument. Everyone since the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Really? Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course. There is no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeves. Or sleeve. Basically, press everything. Misuse argument.
Hold it.
The suspect? But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you, this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who can corroborate what he did since the snacking. I see she's done her research well. Which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding. There we go. Whew. Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide. The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Fairhead. I'm pronouncing so many words weirdly. Anyway, even if you believe it, has it been exhaustive? Crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. But because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. But isn't it also possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden? That's the first place everyone looked, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know? Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case. Well done! I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? Of course I'm sure. And why are you so certain? This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Mr. Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future. Oh dear. God. Point taken. Unshakable conclusion, Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Yeah, no. You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I suppose we've really reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Franziska or myself speaking with you about the subject. But there were witnesses. For you, there is your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for the little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma. I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard, or a bailiff, or anyone else. Wait, so basically the only reason Franziska bothered to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor. By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene, as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard that gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when that gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception of when the crime actually took place. Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1, care to explain how that could have been fabricated? Easy. A crystal clear gunshot that was recorded. There you go. That tape! Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell, the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded into the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. But I do, which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I can think of too. After committing double murder, or double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here, but of course Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew. Didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of the courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until only a little while ago. That's right, and if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet we heard the gunshot clear as day. And that's it, end of story. But it's not. How should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? The door was open. There was a hole in the wall. No, the window was open. Duh. There is actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. And the hallway, actually. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was opened in each. Oh! Now we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also opened. God, I hate the way she says objection. It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the same time, or at the time. It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window opened in lobby number 1? The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is, of course, this bitch. Miss Callisto Yu. I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. What? You indict me? Oh damn, she smudged her lipstick. Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she is the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet. But of course I'm serious. Because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? Of course I do, Edgeworth. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Ba ba ba. Although I never thought that things would spiral into this. Well, have you know, I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right? Okay, so Miss Yu is a rebuttal. You argue that the window was opened, however, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours. Okay. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now is the time to put the patented Von Karma perfect proof to the test. This one I don't even need to press on anything. I can literally just present. Yes, straight away. The window was opened, however, do you have any proof that it was I who did that? Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't think you opened it directly. Or maybe you did. There we go. Same perfume as the one spilled in lobby number 1. Yeah, there. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu? No, Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know. What? This isn't mine. That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Bad, you see. Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much for sure. That this bottle of perfume was given to Detective Bad by you. Because it gets really strong really fast. So what about the perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window. Come now, I've already told you that's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window. The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. The most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. You mean... Miss Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss Yu. Oh! You accused me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife... Wait, where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Miles, her testimony is flawless. Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her. Yeah, it's time to press everything! Alright, why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder, yeah. I think I already explained the significance of that earlier. You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume. But that's all. That you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill. Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character. Do as you like, but as for me, I believe. You believe? I believe that you are the true culprit in this case. My, you're enthusiastic. Of course, I should have guessed. God, what a douche. Douchey thing to say. It's true. I mean, Von Karma did forge stuff. I formally request that you desist in your attack against my mentor. Yes, I will sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth. Well, maybe more like spreading gossip. Although your adamant denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire. Adding fuel to the fire. How dare you? Say such a thing. Calm down, little girl. Don't let her get to you. Aw, why did you have to ruin my fun? Well, shall I continue? And why exactly could you not have killed him? I was just about to testify to that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know, Edgeworth. Your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand. Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we?
Objection!
Miss you will desist in this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy. Sorry. Miss you, please continue with your testimony. Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly killed Mr. Faraday. Right, here's where it all begins. And where it all ends, actually. Boink! At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Miss Yu, maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her, that's what I'm doing. Huh? I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony. Sure. Why not? I'll even say it as many times as you'd like. So what does she say? There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Okay. So, present the knife. We got her. Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. Oh, so if I chose to present the key or the knife, it would probably pull up both of them. This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it, in fact, has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Oh! Do you understand now? Just knowing of the existence of the Yatagarasu's key. She's redoing her makeup. Holy crap, that was one hell of an animation sequence, Jesus. I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would, even now, still feign ignorance? I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumours about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now take a good look at this piece of evidence. It is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? Are you satisfied now? But of course, you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of law enforcement, and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, there's something that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. But he didn't actually tell me about how the key... He didn't tell me how the key actually transforms. But he didn't tell you because he didn't even know. What you were saying is simply not possible. Oh? And why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages he mentions nothing about a knife. I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know? Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication? Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. Oh! What would have been highly classified information, even within the police force? And is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need... Ooh, pardon me, to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realised the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. Miss Yu. I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of the knife. Oh dear. Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is, and show me? Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we are through. This is it, the moment of truth. The secret behind the Yatagarasu's key. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu's key could change into a knife? The Yatagarasu. There's only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. And that is? And that is the person who sent the Yatagarasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu? Miss Yu, you used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against criminals, why? Why do something like this? Oh god. Breakdown! There's the animation where her face turns funny. Oh god. Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday. Why? Answer me, Callisto Yu. Callisto Yu. Huh. That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity. Which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rell an offer, an acquittal for a little favour in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rell was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rell caves to only two things, money and authority, just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rell any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But didn't you say that you despised criminals? But do I really? You... Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu. And by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. And in order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu's key just like that. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take notes of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd killed each other. Then the trick with the surveillance tape. Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of whose first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member, Deed Man. You ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad? I had Deedman killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? It can't be. You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. Oh, shit. How could this... You don't mean... You're working with Manny Cochin too, do you? Maybe, maybe not. Guess we'll never know. Or you'll never know. The Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet, you. Yatagarasu. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know the Yatagarasu has 3 legs? Do you know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. Oh no. Oh Jesus. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it. You mean, the key was your real target? And even after I gave you such great advice. Didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence. That's true. You two, get down! Okay, I think Francisca did. My body, I can't move. Hey mister, to your right! Oh! Oh, there. Oh, now she runs away. Fucking hell. To be fair, that actually looked like we got hit. Are you alright, Francisca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Hmm? Where did Kay go? Oh no. That's a gunshot. Not good. Holy shite. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. You may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. And sweaty. But more importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma, are you two hurt? Oh, he's actually treating us with respect. I am absolutely fine. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and, hey, Detective? Oh, Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. I'm sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened. From Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. No, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops. Pops? Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear, I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad. And take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison. He's still fucking depressed. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. Oh, it was no problem. Really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired. You should work hard, give all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Oh, what is it? What was it that Kay left for me? The proof of their friendship? It should be fairly obvious. Yeah, Detective Bad's testimony. It's a courthouse special Swiss roll. Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. The Swiss roll Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together. Or the one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy, it's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Woo! That was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey wait, where is she? He only noticed just now? Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first. You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? Hey, there's my thumbnail. I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir. And don't you worry, I'll investigate the next case we're on real well. I'll, be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... There we go, we're back. So, do you remember now? Yes, I remember everything. Kay, it's been a while. Kay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Go me, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So, does it all make sense now? You betcha it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and... Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelves recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. But that's... impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face, I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then, how do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing. Yep, that's a little thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow, Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor. He was a really great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed. And the Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. Sent card to the embassy. The Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card? Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto Yu lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy card out. But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicised. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up, and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father's and Miss Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end, and I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Okay. You're so honourable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you are honourable, a thief is a thief. And if you are plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth. You guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? Mr. Edgeworth. What I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman. That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself, but I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe... Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Huh? Owe me for what? When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I'm not so rude as to leave favours unrepaid. Then you mean... Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you. Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gummy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? End. Not quite. The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Fern Faraday, Callisto U. And Kay Faraday. The phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And the Yatagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. Oh, and then the final case. Or the final episode, I suppose. Yay! That was a long-ish case. 4.5 hours, roundabout. Not bad. Brand new episode has been added. Woo! Turnabout ablaze. This one's a doozy. Yep. It's the longest case by far. But I look forward to it. Either way, that is going to be the end of this session. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. And until next time, take care.